So this is kind of like a prototype, okay? I'm just kind of making it up as I go along. Because I've never really thought about how to go about this before. But you gotta do what you gotta do. I'm a survivor. I'm not gonna give up. I'm not gonna stop. I'm gonna work harder. When people see me and they see me being strange. They don't even know who I am, what my life is like, you know. They don't know why I'm strange. All they know is I'm strange. I'm different, they say. They took the ability for me to buy nice clothes out of my hands. God gave me the power to make. God gave me the power to make nice clothes. You'll be surprised to see how I put my outfits together. You'll come to my house looking for what you saw me wearing, and you'll never find it. Why? Because I made it up. It's temporary. Just a piece of fabric that I decided to flip this way and that way, pin here, pin there. You'll be seeing it and wondering, where does she shop? I shop at Chanel's House of Fashion. Yeah, my own house of fashion. That's Chanel with an S, not with a C. So once I've cut all of these pieces, I will sew up 3 sides because I have to leave an opening to put the pad in. So I will sew up only 3 of the sides, and then that's it. And like I said, if I buy underwear specifically for this, so when my body's malfunctioning, we wear those. It's gonna have Velcro on the crotch, and these pads are gonna have the corresponding part of the Velcro so that they attach, and that makes it immovable, you know. So I just wanted to show anybody who may be going through something similar how I go about making these pouches. Because if I even throw away the contaminated pads, all they're gonna do is wait until I buy the next set and contaminate those too. And this isn't the first time that they've done this to us, so I know that that's what they will do. They'll just wait for us to buy a new set, and then they'll happily come in or have them ready at the shop. And these people have access to the factories so they could come straight from the factory already sabotaged, ready for people like us. Okay, so don't underestimate what the enemy can do. The system belongs to them. Okay, so they have access to anybody and anything, and those who won't comply, they intimidate them, or they bribe them or intimidate them and make them do their bidding. Okay, and if everybody in the shop doesn't know what's going on, there's at least one person in the shop who knows what the hell is going on. Okay, sometimes it could be even the janitor. You never know. So who's important and who is unimportant, you just don't know, you know. So when you're a person like me, normal rules do not apply. Okay, anybody could be the saboteur. Anybody could be the saboteur. And everybody's desperate for money. Everybody's desperate for whatever the hell they're desperate for. So all they have to do is offer them what it is they know they really want, and you got a deal. And the enemy has access to our things, or to us. Because when I was going to my dentist, they changed my dentist like 3 times. First there was a woman, then there was an Indian man, and then they changed from the Indian man to, I don't know if the guy was, I don't know where he was from, but he didn't speak English, so he sounded like, I wouldn't say German, but sounded like something like that. Okay, so they just, if somebody won't comply, they'll just change whoever it is that do your service to somebody that will comply with their requests of whatever evil they want to do to us. So if you see them changing your doctor often, or if you see your dentist changing often, if you see your child's teacher changing often, if you see, it's because they're trying to find somebody who will actually comply. Because not everybody is willing to do wickedness just for perks. Okay, not everybody's desperate. Not everybody's built for the darkness. So The Indian man, he'd been my dentist for a very long time, and he did one of my he's the first one who put super glue in my tooth. I don't know if they were putting like a bug in it so that when I talk, even if I whisper, they can hear what I'm saying. That's for those who need to use technology, because some people, they are actually telepathic. Some of the people who are tasked with watching me, they're actually telepathic. So I could just think something and they know what I'm thinking. Okay. Some people, they don't have that type of talent, so they have to rely on the physical world, things in the physical world, to um, to monitor me from. Okay, they want to know everything I think, everything I do, everything I don't do, everybody I talk to. I think at this point I'm like it's not even like I'm a target like that anymore. I think I'm still a target, but I feel like I'm so different to what they're used to when they're tormenting people the way that they torment me. I feel like the things that I choose to do, the way that I choose to handle the torment, is so different and abnormal that right now I'm like a test subject. So it's like they'll do stuff to me just to see, okay, how is she going to handle this? Let me show you something. This is my door. I'm gonna turn it around. This is my door. Right. I have to basically do that to my door. My door is constantly on an open like that because I need the fresh air to come in. So I basically let the elements fight against their element. Okay, I let the element of air fight against their element, because what happens is whatever they got coming from. Look at my light switches. Let me show you. Wait. Look, I have to cover all of the lights in my roof because they got, that's one of, and this over here is where my electrical socket is. I have to cover that too. In order to, I have to cover my electrical sockets, the sprinkler system, the light, the light sockets. I have to cover all of those because those are all entrance points for these fumes that they got coming in. What these fumes do to me, as you know, they make my nose run, because they make my nose burn, make my nose run, and I have to, I think the body produces the mucus, so when I blow my nose, it kind of gets some of the chemical out of my nostrils, because it's a foreign body, and you know how the body is already designed to take care of itself. So yeah, so I blow my nose, and now it's like I can feel a burning in my chest. So it's like heartburn. So even though I can't smell, the fume doesn't have an odor, but it has a reaction on my body. I could tell when they turn it on, and I could tell when they turn it off. Okay, because of the reaction that it has on my body. Let me show you. So even in the kitchen, I have to cover my light sockets, cover all these, keep the view out. Even the sink, I have to put this to block that hole, because when I'm standing here, even the vent, the food extractor fan is supposed to pull out bad smells and stuff. It actually, they actually have it rigged to put fumes in the house. Welcome to my life. So yeah, now what I realize is they're doing something with the electrics. So now my I am like very electrically charged. Last night me and Malika were playing with the because my bedding, when I have to wash my bedding every couple of days, because whatever it is that's in the air, the wind that's coming in, it blows it out of my face, but it still lands on my bedding. So when I go to lay down, it affects my breathing because it's on my bedding. So I have to wash them every 2 days. So when I wash the comforter, the quilt, when I wash the quilt, it's like I realize it's getting more and more electrically charged. So last night, me and Malika, I washed it and put it to dry so I could have it ready for the night. And me and Malika were like running our hands across it because when I run my hand across it, it lights up like a flicker. Could you imagine that? It actually, it's like if there was, I don't know if this is right, but I figure if there was like a gas leak in here, and I was to be moving about under my quilt, it'll probably just spark. It'll ignite. It'll ignite because of the electricity. So Malika was running her hand across it too because I wanted to see like what would happen. She's less electrically charged than I am. So when she run her hands across the blanket, you can see there's a spark, but it's not as bright as mine. So I don't know what the fuck they're doing to me. But yeah, this is my life. So I don't know. That's all I want to share right now. The rest of my challenges are just my challenges. It's my portion, you know. So I'm gonna get back to living my life now. I'm gonna sew up these things to protect my coochie. But me, I don't have itches on them things. Nobody's even touching it. There's no reason why it should be malfunctioning. And yeah, before you blame your man and think your man brought some kind of disease into you as well, check and make sure that you're not being sabotaged. Talking to the 144,000 and other people, because these tricks, they're becoming more and more well known. So even regular people might be getting they might be getting attacked through these means, and you think there's something wrong with you. You think your man brought something into you, or your woman brought something into you, some kind of STD or something. Before you go about blaming each other and creating turmoil in your life, make sure that you exhaust all of the possibilities so that you can pinpoint what's really going on, because the world isn't what we have been taught it is, okay? And knowledge is power, and this is the reason why they taint knowledge so much. If it's tainted, then we don't know fuck all, and if we don't know anything, we have no power. That's how that works. So just know that we are in a war. We are in a war for truth. We are in a war for wisdom. We are in a war for knowledge. We are in a war for understanding. We are in a war for our freedom to be ourselves. We're in a war for our souls, um, for our right to live a morally correct or morally upright life. It's not that the fucking heat is on, bruv. And it's not just about the 144,000. It's a war against everybody. It's not about being black or white or young or old or smart or dumb or rich or poor. This war is against everybody. Because there's a small handful of people who want to control everything and everyone everywhere. All the time. Okay? So yeah. If you see the world from those lenses, you'll be able to understand things better. And don't let paranoia be your friend. Okay? It's better for you to rely on God if you feel like you're gonna be overtaken by paranoia. Because that's when they start justifying the he or she's crazy narrative. Okay? Don't let paranoia take over your existence. Pray before you get paranoid. Yeah? Prayer before paranoia. Ask God to give you understanding, and ask God to give you wisdom so that you can overcome. You know what I'm saying? Because there's no such thing as crazy as far as I'm concerned. If somebody's complaining about something, something is going on somewhere, somehow. Okay? And this is why we need to recognize life for what it is, because people tend to think that things like telepathy ain't real, and all kind of things that are real, we tend to believe that they're not real, and that eliminates our ability to understand the truth of a situation. So it's like we defeat our own self by not believing in certain things. And I'm not saying that you should believe in these things to the point where they cripple you or anything like that. Just know that God was very creative. God is very creative. And the same way you look at peas and see like many, many different types of peas or beans or even pumpkin, flowers, just look at how versatile God is. Just look at humans. Okay, we're all human, but we all look different. We all act different. Look at the peas, they all look different. They got their own different values. Flowers, they all look. So there's no it's illogical for us to think that there's only one way, you know what I'm saying? Or it's illogical for us to believe that magical things, just what we call the supernatural, is actually natural. We've been trained to call it supernatural because we're not used to seeing or experiencing these things, but they're actually natural. And life itself is magic. Life itself is magic. Science and magic are one and the same. There's no difference between science and magic. You know what I'm saying? So we need to open up our minds. I mean, be slow to believe things, but don't just rule out. You know what I'm saying? Just because you don't know what somebody's talking about, it doesn't mean that they're lying, or it doesn't mean that they don't know what they're talking about, or it doesn't mean that they're crazy. It means that something is going on somewhere. And a closer look. You're being beckoned to take a closer look. And we're in the time where we're actually in the age of apocalypse. You know, this is the apocalypse, and people think that the apocalypse is some kind of mass destruction. When you look up the word apocalypse, it actually simply means the unveiling. So if we're in the age of the apocalypse, aka revelation, it simply means that now is the time of revealing a lot of truths, you know, revealing that which was hidden. Excuse me. Okay. It's a time where power is being put into the hands of the little guys. See, these people who call themselves Illuminati, they were only comfortable in doing so because they held back knowledge from the real illuminated ones, like myself. I didn't know. I mean, I've always believed in magic because, like I said, this is another incarnation of myself. So this is a reincarnation for me this lifetime. I've been here before. I've been here before, and I feel, you might think I'm crazy for saying this, but I believe that I was Nefertiti in my last life, or maybe a life before. Yeah, because I've always felt like I belong in like a temple or something somewhere. I've always had that kind of feeling about myself. I've always like caves. It's weird. I don't know why, but like I said, I came here with a knowledge of God and a belief in God. From a very young age, I believed in God. I didn't need somebody to convince me to believe in God. I just heard truth and I knew it was truth. Life itself is a very magical thing, you know. You see a lot of reports about children talking about lives that they used to live, little children. So it's like, if a little child can tell you, I used to be XYZ, I used to have XYZ, and tell you certain things about places and people, and you know that they're not supposed to know this, then how else do you explain what they're saying to you? What are we? Who are we? What is this? What is life? You understand? And I find that a lot of people, in our ignorance, we tend to hold so firmly onto the existence that we have been taught to believe in without having any proof that somebody making claims outside of that is actually a falsehood. We don't have any proof that what somebody else is saying is false. Just because it didn't happen to you, it doesn't mean that it's not true. You know? And we tend to hold so strongly onto our own beliefs. And we don't open up our minds. We're not taught to open up our minds and allow people to speak their truth. And some people will lie, but that's why we have the gift of discernment. We have the power to discern. You know, we have a soul, we have intuition. We need to get to know ourselves and use ourselves. This is why they say people only use a certain percentage of our brain, is because there's so much of us, so much of us that's asleep. We're not fully awake. Because it's like, how did they build the pyramids? And how come we today can't do it? We can't even figure out how they did it. I feel it has a lot to do with the lies that we live. Because we choose to live lies rather than honor truth, we fool ourselves, and that keeps us dumbed down. And therefore, doors of wisdom that would otherwise open up, doors of wisdom that opened up to the people, civilizations before us. Because the history teaches us that the Egyptians were primitive, you know, they taught us that we are more advanced than them, and that's a fucking lie. I could tell you now, that is a lie. I would go so far even to say, without proof, that this is probably the dumbest humanity has ever been. The way that we go about things, there's a better way. And because of money, because of power, those who are in charge, they choose not to utilize these better ways. They choose to go about life in ways where they destroy the environment, you know, they destroy people's minds, they destroy natural habitats, they just destroy without conscience, without a thought. We are being ruled by some very foolish people. That's the truth of the matter. And if anybody's gonna save us, we're gonna have to start that ball rolling ourselves by not being like these people, by not supporting the nonsense that they're doing. Yeah. Because if we allow them to keep leading us, it's not gonna be pretty. Wherever we're going, by being led by them, it's not a nice place. It's not a nice state of being. It's basically creating hell on earth. And we're already living in hell on earth. This is hell on earth. This is already hell on earth. But it could be so much worse. But depending on the choices we choose to make, it could be so much better. It's a matter of choice. And then putting in that work. Yeah, heaven and hell is just a thought and a decision away. Hell on earth and heaven on earth is a simple decision away. And everybody has to make that decision, you know. And that's why opposition is good, because they're talking about this one world government. That's a terrible idea. I would strongly and highly suggest that we the people never make that happen. There should always be opposition, because if there's no opposition, look at the people that's trying to be rulers over us. Just look at their character. What do you think is going to happen? What do you think is going to become of us? All the things that they want to implement in society and call it modernization, is it really? Or is it just more farms to control? It's more farms to control. I saw a video of a man. He was in a car, and the car was on fire, and it's a modern car. So the what I'm figuring is the fire, it disabled the computer system in the car. So you know the locks are computerized, the windows are computerized, and the man was trapped in the car because where the fire started, it put the computer out of commission, and there was no correspondence between the buttons and what functions they were supposed to do on the car, like open the car window so that the man can climb out. It's people that were driving by and saw the fire. They came out of their cars with the engine on fire. These people risked their lives to save the person that was in the car. So they basically was breaking the glass. I think they broke the glass of the car, and the man fully conscious, he climbed out the car himself. So dude was in there watching all that going on, was completely helpless. That's a modern car for you. Back in the day, we used to. I knew that they would. I knew that they would be messing with my internet connection. They don't want me telling you these things. Yeah, but this. You have to realize when it's fuckery. Okay, and they keep. They keep. They will only continue on their path because we keep. Everybody